Welcome to Paws Between Us, your regular dose of positive pet news. Every other week, we bring you a short, uplifting episode packed with the latest feel-good stories and research from the world of pets.
So take a moment to tune out from the negative news dominating our headlines and help us shine a light on the good, celebrating the joy pets bring to our lives and sharing the inspiring changes making their lives better too.
So settle in for a short pause and let's spread some positivity together. Hey, Nat.
Heya, how you doing?
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
All right, thank you very much. We're here for another short pause.
We are, our short pause where we focus on some of the news and research emerging from the world of pets. Things that have caught our eye, caught our attention, things that we've been thinking about. And it is very different to the other episodes that we produce where we talk to special guests and pick their brains about their expertise and wisdom. So yeah, this is things that we're passionate about or that we've seen recently that we want to share.
Yeah, it sort of hopefully gives a little bit of a different take on the animal world. So yeah, what have you come across anything this week? What's caught your eye?
I have. I mean, what caught my eye was sadly last night watching the news about some of the wildfires across Europe. And there was a real sad clip where I think in a town in France, there were horses running through the town trying to escape the fires. And it's a real sad sight to see. And I just hope that those horses are okay. And there were people kind of taking dogs out of houses and things, and
it's dreadful.
It is. And then I have just seen lots in the news this week about the heatwave, because it isn't just people in the UK like us that are impacted, it is people in the sort of broader parts of Europe.
Yeah, I've been seeing some articles myself, actually, because there was something in The Guardian, I think, a few days ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? And I think there's definitely vets and animal charities out there that have warned that all animals can fall dangerously ill in hot weather, especially dogs. And actually, they can get more poorly quite quickly at lower temperatures than many people might realise. So it doesn't have to be super scorchio to cause damage. And so the RSPCA is urging owners to treat the heatwave as a temporary dog lockdown, and it's safer for them to miss a walk than risk overheating. And I know we've talked about this before because Betty is particularly prone to overheating, so I'm always super vigilant. But there's quite a few vets out there that are reporting that they've seen an increase in pets with organ damage after overheating. And also a rise in blisters on pets' paws from the scorching pavement. So if you see me going around the streets bent down, putting my hands on the pavement, I'm not crazy. I'm just doing it because I am testing it. Yeah. And
I mean, this might be in the article and I might be preempting what you were going to say. But there was things about like, consider even taking your cat for any vet checkups unless they're kind of absolutely urgent, because taking them in carry cases that are usually plastic and retain heat and have no airflow. I mean, oh my God, I got so upset a few months ago when I was in the vet, and it wasn't during the heat wave, but it was a warm day. A woman brought her cat in one of those space backpacks, and the cat was huge. It filled the backpack. It had a few air holes, but I was like, why are you bringing your cat in a sort of fashion item that's like a space helmet? Bring something practical that your cat can move around in. And it couldn't lie down in this backpack. The backpack was open as well. And like, I know the thing about cats is that they need a bit of cover to feel protected. Sorry, I'm going on a rant, but it really annoyed me. And I wish the vet at the time had advised her and said, this isn't really appropriate. Get yourself something better, because it's, anyway, sorry, back to you.
No, you're right.
It makes me angry.
I've had discussions with my vet about at what time of day it's more appropriate to bring Betty for an appointment, for example. Nice. And they have said, look, don't come afternoon or evening, let's get you an early morning appointment, which I think is really considerate. Brilliant. So maybe the vet did have a chat with the owner of the cat. You don't know. But
I know, and I suppose I do have to think that it's just out of ignorance, not out of kind of vanity or what I was suggesting there. But it's that immediate annoyance of me and just sort of think of that like lack of thought.
Yes.
But I do have to kind of chill and go, maybe she didn't realise, maybe it's actually not that warm, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know about cats, but I know that dogs can overheat quickly because they don't sweat through their skin like humans do. And this is something that I learned a few years ago, that actually dogs rely on sweating through their paw pads to cool
Oh, yeah.
down. And of course, they need to pant, and that helps them cool down as well. And that's why Betty does struggle a little bit, because she can't pant that efficiently. So always really sort of mindful of that. And yeah, I mean, just in terms of signs of heat stroke in dogs, so excessive panting, bright red or pale gums, sickness and lethargy. And a dog's temperature is meant to be around 38.5 to 39. Celsius. And so some of these dogs are coming in apparently with temperatures of 41. And that's when you start to see sort of organ damage. Just to be very mindful, I guess, of this continued heat wave.
Yeah, and I think that also applies, because I think, again, just to kind of cover any other animals and pets, that applies to like rabbits in hutches in gardens. Guinea pigs apparently have been a big victim of this as well, because they're not necessarily always in shade. And I think during heat waves, if you have got a run outside, that they have shade constantly throughout the day, because otherwise they're just absolutely going to cook in, and they haven't got a way of getting into a shady patch. So please, please, please consider where your animals are kept. If it's hot for you, it's going to be baking for them.
Yeah, I mean, it is really hot, isn't it?
It's relentless at the moment. It's really tricky. And I think, a lot of people are probably trying to do their best and still worrying.
Yeah. So, and what about you? I mean, I've also been looking up pigeons, which I can come on to. There's a very misunderstood animal, because they're seen as pests. But yeah, shall I talk a little bit about that?
Do, because I saw something, it seems to have come into the news. So yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, pigeons seem to be having a bit of a renaissance at the moment, which is probably a good thing, because the humble pigeon is very misunderstood, but apparently the tide is turning, which is a good thing. And this prompted me to find out a bit about pigeons, because I was visiting my mum recently, and she has this wonderful photo of her in Trafalgar Square feeding the pigeons and surrounded by pigeons. And she's in her element, because she's always loved pigeons. And I was thinking, okay, I don't know an awful lot about pigeons. I had a friend once who was in a flat and had a balcony, and the pigeons decided to also share their balcony, or share her balcony. And I remember she was trying to think of all these ways to kind of get rid of them. And I thought, I don't know, is that like fair? But yeah, pigeons do face daily threats. So apparently, according to the RSPCA, in 2025, more than 2,300 pigeons came through the RSPCA's doors, and most were injured, grounded, or orphaned. And pigeons have been with us for a long, long time, at least as far back as the Egyptians, apparently. So, yeah, you sort of see them everywhere, don't you? And they are regarded as pests. But I think it's a little bit more, that's a bit unfair, really. And there are apparently more than 350 different species of pigeon, which include doves.
Oh, I did wonder this. Yeah, I did wonder about doves.
I never knew that. I never knew doves were also a pigeon.
Because they look pretty, then they're all right.
Yeah, exactly. And during the Second World War, around 100,000 pigeons carried vital messages, maps, and microfilm in capsules attached to their legs. So they sort of played a key role, really, in the wartime efforts, and they delivered information during bombings and power cuts, even when they were wounded. And 32 pigeons received the PDSA Dickin Medal, the highest military award animals can receive, which I think is amazing, really.
Yeah, they played such an important role in the war effort, didn't they? And it's great that they got that recognition.
Yeah, and I don't quite know what happened between then and now, where they then developed such a poor reputation.
There was something about that. I don't know how true it was, but there was something about that. A lot of the pigeons that are around now have come from domesticated pets.
Right.
That,
okay.
Again, I have to have a look, but like they were kind of kept as a pet, or they were kept for racing, and there was lots of pigeon fancying, and back in the day, wasn't there? And they were useful to us, and then they weren't as useful to us, and so became sort of feral, I suppose. Is that the right word?
Yeah, maybe.
And now
Became
just have to fend for
redundant.
themselves.
Yeah. Well, they're very smart, apparently. Very smart and complex creatures.
Okay.
They have exceptional memories, as
Cool.
part of my research has shown. Their brain is only the size of a cashew nut, so very small. But their problem-solving skills are better than modern AI models. And they're one of the few non-mammals who can recognise themselves in a mirror. And with training, they can even spot signs of cancer in medical scans as accurately as human experts. So
wow.
I find that fascinating, and I want to do a little bit more digging into that. Because, I don't know how that works, or how we've come to realise that they can spot those signs of cancer. But they're really misunderstood. And I think, having now looked into all of this, I don't think I'm going to look at them the same way. Because in the city where I am, there's loads of them everywhere, and you just sort of pass them by, really, without giving them much thought, or you sort of shoo them away, or, well, I don't, but some people do, and
kick them, and
well, gosh, I mean, I could never do that, but I have heard on social media of people attacking pigeons, and I think it's really, really sad.
Disgusted.
So it's definitely changed my view of them. And I want to do a little bit more research into them to understand them a bit better.
Yeah, well, it says, while you were just talking there, I kind of had a little Google, and it says that they are, people think they're unhygienic, but they're not. They spend a lot of their time grooming and bathing. They're not unclean. And they have a whole range of emotions. They can love, grieve, suffer from loneliness. And if any of them are living isolated, they tend to experience things like depression. So if you've kept a pet on its own, one on its own is not good. They prefer to live in flocks. And they're loving and loyal creatures. So we've kept them for thousands of years, and now we're abandoning them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I find so sad, is that clearly they had a key role at least in the UK at some point, and we've turned our back on them. And we shouldn't do.
A friend of mine had two baby pigeons in her garden, and she took very good care. One of them flew off. She was very pleased to see one of them eventually, after a day or two, flew off. But the other one was struggling, and she did a very great thing and took it in, created a little nest for it, and Googled a lot of different things to kind of feed it to try and bring it back to its strength. And unfortunately, the poor thing did pass away because it just wasn't well. And I think I've read that quite a few, unfortunately, do die at a young age. But she took very good care of it. And it's nice that people are out there willing to kind of do some love for our wild animals and the ones that live close with us.
Yeah, those acts of kindness are amazing. Apparently, young pigeons, they're known as squabs.
Yes.
And you can do a homemade wildlife rescue box if you find a young pigeon who is maybe injured or in danger. You can do that. So there's plenty of info online about how to make your own wildlife rescue box. So do check it out. And next time you see a little pigeon, maybe give it some thought, give it some respect, or give it the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
So what about you? What have you found? What's caught your eye this week?
So potentially a debatable subject, but it's about fireworks and animals. The UK government's launched a consultation about the future of fireworks and pyrotechnics, because it's around reducing negative impacts on people, communities and animals. And it acknowledges that a lot of people have been kind of complaining and raising concerns for quite a few years. So pet owners, farmers, animal welfare groups, members of the public, because it can cause a lot of distress to maybe your household dog, your cat, everybody's going to know that. But then also horses, wildlife and livestock also struggle with all the bangs and randomness. It's quite frightening to a lot of animals. So the proposals are kind of out now. It's on it's on the government website under their consultation section, but it's about restricting louder fireworks and only maybe potentially having them for professional use only. So general public would only have access to quieter versions, smaller fireworks. And at the moment, they want to get as much feedback from the general public and from businesses and organisations as well, like consumer groups and healthcare organisations and mental health charities, things like that, as well as animal charities and animal welfare organisations. And I know the Cats Protection and RSPCA have been promoting this and putting some information on places like LinkedIn and probably social media, because they want to hear from the general public and pet owners as well. I have had a look at it. It is quite complex. There's a certain bit of information and reading you'd need to do as a layperson to sort of put your viewpoint across. But every view, I suppose, will be useful if you've got a particular opinion on this. The deadline for the consultation is the 7th of October. So you've got quite a few months to have a look at the website, maybe get in touch with some of the charitable organisations if you want a bit of guidance, or if you want to know if they're doing anything as a collective, might be a worthwhile step. But otherwise, have a look at the www.gov.uk/government/consultations. Then you'll be able to find that and input your own viewpoint on it. And like I say, it's open until the 7th of October. But yeah, thinking about it from, I suppose, I was just going to sort of give my own opinion on this, and then we can discuss it a little bit between us about how we feel. I mean, my cats are nonplussed about the fireworks. They don't react at all, which is great. We don't tend to have many that are on the street or very often, so I suppose they're limited in terms of the noise and how close it is. But what we tend to do is make sure the TV's on very loud or loud enough to drown out any random bangs, so that it just feels like it's part of the TV, so it doesn't come as a shock, because they're quite sensitive to like the doorbell going and random other noises. So I'm quite surprised that they're very chilled about it. But in the past, I have had cats that have been terrified by it, and you know, it's really distressing. And a lot of people worry about their animals during that time. And I don't want to take the fun out of it, because displays are great for, as humans, I love going around and watching fireworks go off. It can be really exciting and entertaining. But I think I agree. I think like for larger displays, that's all well and good. They happen on the night before, the weekend before, whatever. But like having neighbours with gardens, just sort of having these really loud, huge fireworks that go off, and often at random times in the week, random times in the year, I'm not so sure I'm that on board with those, because it does frighten wildlife. It's quite a threatening noise, and I think we need to be more kind and thoughtful. Plus there's the danger, they're weapons at the end of the day. In the wrong hands, they can cause some serious damage. But yeah, I don't know, what's your thought on it, or what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I mean, it does sound like there's plenty of time for people to contribute views, and every view will count, I'm sure. So yeah, I encourage people to have a look and have a say if their pet is impacted. Betty, like Weaver and Murray, isn't that bothered. And I always find that strange, because like you say, when the doorbell goes, she is instantly alert to that. Not so much scared, but it gets her attention, where there's sort of like the bangs and things that go on around bonfire night, but also New Year and things like that. She doesn't seem too fussed about, but I know there's lots of people out there who have pets who get very, very scared.
Yeah.
And yeah, is it necessary? That's the thing. I'm not sure it is, just for anyone at any time to be letting off fireworks. I think it would be better to be more controlled.
Yeah, and I think the thing to say, actually, they're not looking to ban everything. They're just looking to kind of reassess some of the certain level of them, the sort of bigger, louder, more risky ones, I suppose.
Because do they really need to be that loud? I don't know. I mean, they're beautiful when they light up in the sky, but is the sound important to the overall experience of them?
True.
I'm not sure it is. Does it add anything? I think if you restrict fireworks more to events and to controlled environments, at least you know roughly when those fireworks are going to go off. If you live near somewhere where you know there's an event, you can make plans, right? You can perhaps pop out, go somewhere, take your dog, cat with you. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't have to be at home having to listen to it. And so when they're just going off like randomly at any, like you say, times of the day, it can take you by surprise. So yeah, it's an interesting one. And I know that it's a really difficult time of year for some pet owners, November through till about January, isn't it?
Yeah, people get really worried about it. And it does cause quite a lot of like headache and stress for humans and their pets.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, reading here, it's like it talks about like the fact that the emergency services have had like a whole hassle to deal with people who use them as weapons and like taking them to football matches and everywhere. They kind of seem to be able to be brought in. What I always found, I mean, this is kind of going off slightly, but people have those smoke bomb things as well. People are holding them at festivals. I'm thinking, surely that's just dripping stuff on people. I don't understand like the thinking sometimes, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's like necessary. I can't understand why people take them to football matches and concerts and things. Surely it's a health and safety hazard as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, I will definitely check it out and see if there's some views that I can share. Interesting to see what the outcome is and whether or not there is a reassessment as a result of this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure come nearer the time, maybe we can share some more thoughts and some advice on keeping your pets safe and happy around this time of year, things that you can do. So, yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, so go on just to the gov.uk website, and under their consultations, you should be able to find it. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. So that's our roundup for this week. We hope you found it interesting. If there are topics that you would like us to look into and to share on this podcast, then do let us know. Do drop us a line on our socials or email us directly at pawsbetweenus@gmail.com.
Thank you. We'll see you next time for a long pause with another expert speaker. So take care, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.